Hey, hey, hey! Welcome back to Hard Truths, the podcast that's not here to sugarcoat your struggles. It's here to shake you out of them. So today, we're diving into something we all deal with, but very few people talk about clearly. That is energy vampires. You know who I'm exactly talking about. You know those people who leave you feeling exhausted after just one conversation? It doesn't even have to be much. They don't even have to yell or complain. Sometimes it's their vibe, their drama, their constant need for attention. You ever hang out with someone and feel like you just ran a marathon? But all you did was listen? Yeah, that's what we're talking about today. Because if you want to protect your peace and stay focused on your path, you've got to learn how to spot these people. And more importantly, how to stop giving them your power. So let's get into it. Let me tell you a story. I had a friend who I really cared about. Been through a lot. Good dude. But he was always in something. It was either a crisis, a complaint, a new drama of the week. And every time we talked, I felt like I had to do something for him. Like play therapist. At first, I thought I was being supportive. But over time, I started noticing something. After every hangout or phone call, I actually felt worse. Not because of him specifically. Let's get that straight. But because I kept giving. And he kept taking. And maybe you felt that too. Like, have you ever had one of those combos where you're like, why am I just tired after just talking? Like, seriously, we didn't even do anything physical. You just sat there, you just talked. But you feel emotionally wrecked. That's not random. That's your energy being slowly drained by someone who's always taking, but never giving anything back. Here's why this happens. See, we're empathetic creatures. We want to be there for people. And energy vampires usually aren't innately evil. They are often people who just don't know how to regulate their own emotions. So they offload it onto whoever's closest. See, my cousin brought his partner to a family gathering one time, and she was super shy. Now, my family's not small. We're talking about like 50 people crammed into a tiny 1,300 square feet home. So, yeah, I thought, let me go over there, make her feel welcome. Start a little conversation, right? At first, she seemed grateful, and she started opening up, talking about crystals and energy healing and all that stuff. I thought, all right, she's into it. Cool. This is awesome. But man, about 40 minutes goes by and I realize I haven't said more than 2 words. My legs are going numb from standing. My mouth is dry from fake smiling and nodding. And I'm thinking, is this still happening? You know that feeling when you want to be polite, but you're mentally checked out. Like you're trapped in a monologue you never asked for? That was me. And by the time I walked away, I felt this weird relief. Like I just escaped an emotional vacuum. By the time I left that room, I felt so much lighter. Just being out of that energy. That's when I really understood what an energy vampire feels like. It's not always loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's just someone who doesn't know when to stop pulling from you. But here's the key. You're not responsible for managing other people's emotional lives. See, psychologists call this emotional contagion. It means emotions are transferable. If someone around you is constantly negative, anxious, or chaotic, you're absorbing that. It becomes your energy too. This is backed by neuroscience. The mirror neuron system, located in the frontal lobe of your brain, is what lights up when you observe someone's emotions, body language, or even facial expressions. It's your brain's way of saying, let's mirror this energy. That's why when someone laughs genuinely, you feel a little lighter. But it also explains why spending time with someone who's always complaining or anxious can leave you feeling the same way. Your brain literally syncs up without you even realizing it. Let me ask you this. You ever walk away from a conversation and feel like you just took on someone else's mood? Like you were fine, but now you're tense, anxious, maybe even a little bit angry. And you're wondering, where the hell did that come from? That's not a mystery. That's your mirror neurons doing their thing. These neurons sit in the frontal lobe, and their job is to mimic the emotional state of the person you're with. It's how we build empathy. But it's also how we unintentionally absorb other people's stress. I remember once after hanging out with someone who constantly dumped their stress on me, I walked away pissed off, and none of it was even mine. It was like their anxiety crawled into my head. And that's the hard truth. Your brain is wired to match energy. Without boundaries, you start living inside someone else's emotional storm. There's a quote that changed how I move. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Yeah, let me say that again. You teach people how to treat you by what you tolerate. Because when you constantly say yes to draining conversations, when you let someone vent for hours without boundaries, you're not being nice. You're being a charger for someone else's chaos. Okay, let's be real. You don't have an unlimited amount of energy. You can't give your best to your goals, your relationships, your purpose if you're giving your best to someone else's emotional black hole. And this is the part most people don't realize. Protecting your energy isn't selfish, it's strategic. You wouldn't leave your car running all night with the doors open. So why are you leaving your energy wide open for anyone to drain? Okay, so let's zoom out for a second. We've talked about energy vampires. We talked about how your brain absorbs other people's moods like a sponge. And we've talked about how boundaries aren't just helpful, they're necessary. So here's what I want you to do. Here's your challenge. This week, I want you to run a little audit. Real simple. After every interaction you have, whether it's a phone call, a text convo, or hanging out with someone, pause and ask yourself, do I feel more drained or more energized right now? Write it down if you have to. Pull out your phone, notes app, whatever. Keep a little tracker. Red flag the people who always seem to take more than they give. Now here's where you start changing the game. If you've got someone who leaves you feeling like you just ran an emotional marathon every time, set some boundaries. Some examples: don't answer every text immediately. Keep your conversations short and intentional. Say no when you need to protect your peace. And look, I'm not saying cut everyone off, but I am saying this. You only have so much energy in a day. And if you're spending it all cleaning up someone else's chaos, you're not building your own peace. Trust me, once you start keeping that energy to yourself, you'll see how fast you can move again. And that's it for today's episode of Hard Truths. If this hit home, good. That means you're done leaking energy into people who don't pour back. I appreciate you, and I want you to protect your peace like it's your paycheck, because it kind of is. Tag me at Danny Livin. That's DANNYLYVIN, and let me know who or what are you cutting off to protect your energy this week. This is Hard Truths. Until next time, your energy is sacred. Treat it like it is.